Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here to film my Tome Topple round 7, I believe, TBR. I'll put all the information down below that you're going to need on when it starts and when it ends, and the whole goal during Tome Topple is to read tomes. So these are books over 500 pages. As you guys know, I tend to like big books, so I'm really excited to be participating once again in Tome Topple. I do have some recommendations of tomes that I've read in the past if you're looking for some recommendations for tomes, so I will go ahead and leave that linked for you so you guys can go and check those out. So, real quick, I'm going to do a rundown of the 5 challenges. They tend to roll over, so these are pretty standard for Tome Topple. So, the first challenge is to read more than one tome. The second challenge is to read a graphic novel that's still over 500 pages. Those ones can be omnibuses, but the rest of the books, if it is an omnibus, each book within it needs to be at least 500 pages, if that makes sense. Number 3 is to read a tome that is part of a series. Number 4 is to buddy read a tome. And number 5 is to read an adult tome. Now, if you're looking for somebody to buddy read a tome, I know they've got groups where they do that and hashtags that they like to use for all the people buddy reading those popular books. So I believe, I can't remember if it's their Goodreads group or something else. Anyways, I will leave a link down below for you guys for that information. So let's get into the 5 books that I have picked out for this particular round. The first one I'm going to talk about is my graphic novel category pick, and that's going to be the next omnibus for Rurouni Kenshin. As you guys know, I've been slowly working my way through Rurouni Kenshin and really enjoying it. The last time I read a volume was during the 24-hour Tezuka Readathon. I will leave that reading vlog linked for you so you can hear me talk a little more about it. But essentially, Rurouni Kenshin is about a wandering samurai seeking peace in his life 10 years after the war. And this is about his adventures, about leaving behind his legacy as the legendary Batosai and the people that he meets along the way. So far, it's been a really beautiful and lovely experience. So this omnibus contains volumes 16, 17, and 18, and I am really looking forward to digging back into Kenshin's story. Next up is a tome that I've been wanting to reread for a while, so I decided to go ahead and throw it on this particular TBR, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is one of Sam from over at Thoughts on Tome's favorite books of all time. I've only read this once, so I really wanted to go through and read it again. So I'm really excited to immerse myself back in this very lyrical, immersive world and to get reacquainted with the story, because it's been probably 2 years, I think, since I've read it, but I really wanted to dig back in and re-experience it and see if my love still holds true, because Erin Morgenstern is releasing another book next year, which I am excited about the premise of, so I just want to re-immerse myself in her writing to make sure it still jives with my current reading tastes. The next tome I have picked out will actually be continuing on in a series that I read earlier this year, and so this book is Dark Immolation by Christopher Husberg, the first book in this series being Duskfall. This is a dark fantasy series. The first book contained a lot of Jason Bourne elements, and this is a very fun and interesting world and magic system, so I'm really looking forward to digging back in to this series. And the first book was about 550 pages, as is this second one. I know the third book's out as well, but I want to make sure I love book 2 before I pick up book 3. This is going to be a 5-book series, I believe. So the first 3 are out. So if you're curious about it, you can slowly start working your way through it before book 4 comes out. But yes, I am really excited to be digging back into this story and this world. And so I do have a review for Duskfall I will leave linked for you, so if you're curious a little more about the story, you can go ahead and check out that review. Next up is a fantasy book that I have had on my shelf for a little bit, and it's one that's been a little more intimidating to me, so I purposely have put it on this TBR so that I strive harder to actually pull it off my shelf and read it, and that is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This is a Asian-inspired fantasy story. I've heard really good things about this series. It's one I've been wanting to dig into for quite a while. It is a bit of a chunker. I think this one's closer to 600 pages. The others have been 5 or 550, and it's one that I just haven't read a ton of Asian fantasy, but I'm very curious about it. So this will be my chance to dive into it a little bit more. This was a Nebula finalist, and I've heard really good things about this particular series. So I am really excited to be finally picking up Grace of Kings. And last but not least was a wild card that I picked up a while back from Barnes & Noble. My cats have drenched it, so it's in like horrible condition, so please don't judge me. But that is Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. This is a sci-fi story about I believe it's a pizza delivery guy. Yes, our protagonist in real life is a pizza driver, but he spends a lot of his time in a particular video game, and it's about his adventures there. From what I gather, Ready Player One is kind of based on this particular story, but this came out like early 2000s, so long before Ready Player One came out. So I've heard good things, so I really want to dig in to this one finally. As I said, I've had it on my shelf at least 6 months. It's been a while. So this is one that, it's a chunker, so I'm wanting to dig into it and read it and see how I enjoy it. There were things about Ready Player One that bogged down the story for me in the descriptions, so I'm hoping this doesn't fall into that so much for me. And the description on the back sounds very satirical, so I think this will be a lot more fun than Ready Player One was, as in it'll have more humor. Not that it's more fun. It'll be more humorous, I guess you could say. I'll let you know for sure by the time I'm done reading it, though. So friends, these are the 5 reads that I have picked out for this particular round of Tome Topple. If you are interested in buddy reading any of these books with me, please let me know in the comments down below, because I am always down for a good buddy read. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, I'm Shay. Welcome. Thank you guys for stopping by. I would love it if you would subscribe and click the little bell icon so you know when to come hang out with me. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.